baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Wow. Right after this crazy crescendo in the solo in this fantastic intro song. Hello everyone, welcome. My wonderful Norwegian attack. Hi Geir, great to see you. All right. Well, you can keep on rehearsing now when I start playing the backup very soon. Patrick? Yeah, you were number 2, but no, not long after you. We have Milovan from Cincinnati, Ohio. How did the elections go in your state, Milovan? You happy about it, or what's going to happen over there? Let's see. Oh God, right. So this has been a very intense late summer and fall. Now I just got back from the UK, and I'll tell you more about it when we come to the theme of today. It's going to be about how I learn so much by teaching. And it's an old cliche for many teachers and all that, but maybe I can give you some real insight, when it comes to guitar playing and teaching guitar to people who are interested in these styles that I'm covering. And yeah, it's been a blast, really. These several past workshops, including my retreat in Sweden, they were just great. Right, so we've come to the welcome song. And this is something I've been fooling around both while I was in the UK and a couple of days ago. I was listening a lot to Mississippi John Hurt, and I remembered, geez, I guess everybody's always playing his most popular songs, the songs that were released on these revival records from the 60s and maybe 70s. And I remember I kind of stumbled upon one of the songs that he played on his early records, and it's been a while since I've heard this, so I started fooling around with it. And then I saw, oh, wait a minute, this is like a little bit like Reverend Gary Davis, and then we got Mississippi John Hurt here. So well, here's a song. It's not going to be on the performing level, but this is, hey, it's my live stream. So I want to play it, and I like it, and it's a fantastic song. It's called Praying Tonight, or Praying on the Old Campground. Right, so how did that go? Right. Praying tonight, praying on the old campground. Praying tonight, we're praying on the old campground. Moaning on the old campground. Moaning tonight, we're moaning on the old campground. Praying on the old campground. Praying tonight, we're praying on the old campground. Praying tonight, singing on the old campground. Singing tonight, we're singing on the old campground. That's a great song. I love it. So how have you guys been doing? Sorry, these past 2 weeks. I jumped over the last week's live stream, so I was away for, well, not for the whole 2 weeks this last time. It was during the weekend, and then afterwards I had to travel, so I didn't have the opportunity to come back on time on Monday evening. Yeah, let's go back to the blues backups. Live blues backup coming up. It's going to be in E. Standard one, right? I'm going to switch just a little bit because this is going to have something to do with the theme for today when I'm going to talk about these things that I've learned by teaching, right? So this is going to be like a version of maybe I've had my fun. If I don't get well no more. I ain't sick. Nothing's wrong. All fine. It's just that song. I don't get well no more. Well, I have my fun if I don't get well no more. My head be feeling heavy, and I feel like I'm going down slow. Alright, so that was the first blues backup, and the second one is going to be in open G, and it's going to be a bit more up-tempo. I'll tell you more about it. Give me a second. Oh, I really need to mute this microphone because if you're noticing any difference from my previous live streams, there is no pickup in the guitar, in the sound hole. And the reason for that is that one of the little flops that keep the pickup in the sound hole broke down on my fantastic Seymour Duncan mag mic. And what I did, that I just went on Twitter and I just tagged them and wrote that this broke down. I attached some images to that, and within a couple of hours they just told me, hey man, just contact our support and they'll sort you out. Within a couple of additional hours, the support replied and said, hey man, give us your address, we'll send you one. So that's some true customer care. by the same Duncan people, and it is a family-owned business, and it's fantastic, right? So you really feel appreciated. So I think about maybe next week or after 2 weeks, I'll be able to put the pickup inside. But what's the problem now is that the pickup is hanging inside of the body, and I kind of put it into a clean anti-COVID mask because it's smooth, it wouldn't damage the inside. So I'll just mute my microphone while I change the guitar. Cool, now we're back. Good. So, let me change this just a little bit. No, the other way around. Sorry about that. So, I want you to see my hands while I'm fooling around. So, the reason for this second, a bit more up-tempo backup is something that happened while I was in the UK and teaching during the Acoustic Blues Weekend for their Euro Blues, European Blues Association. So that's a fantastic job. It's really great to work with those guys. And something's happened while I was playing these shuffles in open G tuning, and I realized something. So let's just go through this, and then we'll go right over to the theme for today. So this is going to be a bit up-tempo. I'm not going to play any slide. This is just really going to be the backup. So get ready, and in your head, or maybe you can sing it at home. Can't Hold Out by Elmore James, like, you know that. Talk to my baby on the telephone. She said, stop what you're doing, boy, you better come on home. I can't hold out. And go on. So this was the backup in Open G, and now I'm about to go to the theme for today. Trying to keep the time and not prolong the live stream to an hour and 20 minutes like the last time. I'm trying to get control of myself and really keep it within 1 hour. Out of respect of your time and everything. So thanks so much for coming. It's great. And don't forget to hit the like button down there because just because it's cool. Right, today's theme. So the things that happen when you teach is that you kind of take your knowledge, of course, which you know how to do, and then you just kind of make it into give me a second here, and you make it into something that people who are not so familiar with the subject, they can learn something from you. The process is like, I know more, you know less, let me show you. And it has been bothering me a little bit when it comes to music, because it's one thing when it comes to science, it's one thing that when it comes to, you're in the school, you're at the university, or things happen like that. But with the music, it's like, I don't like those. I've never liked those classifications like, oh, this is a beginner, this is intermediate, this is advanced. I mean, what is advanced? For me, John Lee Hooker is very, very advanced. And if we want to be honest, what John Lee Hooker was playing technically on the guitar playing technique, the picking technique, was not as, let's say, complicated or deep as what we know today as fingerstyle guitar. When you say Blind Blake, the famous ragtime guitar player, when he played, it was a fantastic kind of jumpy, tricky playing, but that doesn't have to be complex just because there are many notes played. Just as when you listen to Muddy Waters playing Walking Blues in the 70s, I think I referred to this recording several times in my live streams, because that's a lesson of simplicity in guitar techniques, but the deepness of the performance and the impression of how deep this stuff is going into old-timey blues, that's amazing. So I don't really like those classifications, and I usually end up in workshops, especially when I'm a guest teacher somewhere, that I have a group that consider themselves, because they can choose that by themselves. Nobody tells them, hey, you're advanced, you're intermediate, you're just a beginner. They have a couple of classes to attend, and they just choose, okay, I'll go to Homesick Mac's advanced fingerpicking class, which I did this past weekend in the UK. So it's like, okay, what's then the advanced fingerstyle playing? What I played to you in the beginning, Praying Tonight, is this advanced? Let's just go through that very slowly. So this is really basic finger picking. What a guitar player needs to know if he, she, they want to play this is that there needs to be a technique on the basses to be able to maintain the basses, and then to play. So my basses are always going 1, 2, 3, 4, playing on various basses, and then the melody is here. So each of these parts per se is very simple to accomplish, but to put them together needs some practicing. So when it's flowing, like when Mississippi John Hurt was playing it, let's say when he played which is oh Jesus, what's the name of that song? Take this hammer and carry it to the captain. No, it's not that. Another one. But that's what he played, right? So these things, compared to Blind Blake, are less notes, it's slower to play, it's a bit less punchy maybe, but it's just as deep. So what I'm always trying to kind of cross over this ambition of people to come to these workshops where they really want to, oh, I want to learn some licks. Can you show me that lick by Blind Boy Fuller? Or Bucka White did this rhythm. How'd you do that? Oh, Folsom Prison Blues, Johnny Cash. Well, they don't ask that too often on blues workshops, but it happened. And the thing with that is like, okay, well show me what you're playing now. I always try not to ask somebody like, show me how much you can do now. Just show me what you do, because I really want this kind of equal level of talking about music, because I just believe that we're on the same journey. We're on a musical journey. I might be ahead of some people who play guitar. I might be way behind many others, depending on what you're comparing. And I don't like comparisons. So I always want to ask people like, okay, what's your goal with coming to the workshop, and what do you want to learn? And most of the times, when they kind of leave this with licks and grips on the guitar and playing fast and all that, it's all about songs. And that's the most beautiful thing. So when it comes to licks and things that you can do, when it maybe a couple of licks in slow blues in E that I usually play as my intro, there are some things that can be considered as licks, like a right, or that's a so I have my own methods, which maybe not any revolutionary method that nobody else does, but it's just like I do these things by showing how things are done. First by just playing the lick itself, then showing how you can accompany that with some basses at the same time, and then about the expression of playing. And it's always this kind of struggle with like, I can play the lick, and then they start to speed it up, and all of a sudden it shows that now it doesn't really go together. So instead of advising people to rehearse or to practice on the lick itself until it really sits well, and then work on the bass part until that sits well, that's a long process. So what I think and strongly believe, I've done that, I guess, these past 20 plus years that I've been teaching and helping students to learn songs and everything. Oh yeah, I just saw that. Thank you, Milovan. It's Spike Driver's Blues. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, sir. Right. And Patrick says, feeling is emotional, not quantitative. Yeah, it's that's the way it is. Right. And of course, Mississippi John Hurt songs. Yeah, they are something fantastic. I always love to listen to him, and he's one of those guys I can listen to all the time. Cool. So back to the licks. So I believe that no matter at which part of your musical journey you are, you're able to do all together. But people really need to slow down and try to put these things into a bit of kind of practicing routine, and then practice all together. So if I would teach somebody to play this, right, I wouldn't divide this into treble strings and the basses. I would do the all together, but maybe just the first part like this. Because this is easy to comprehend. This is easy to understand that, okay, I pick the first notes together, and then the bass and these two strings, second and the third, the grip is here on the fourth and the third fret, and following that is two more strokes on the second and third string, like this. This is something that I believe anybody who knows how to play the basic blues pattern and knows where the chord changes are coming and all that, this is a no-brainer if you would practice like this, very slowly, piece by piece, but both basses and the treble. So until you start bleeding down here, not really, but then the next part will be, right, so why today's theme, and what have I learned by doing these workshops this year? Maybe not too much of some new stuff compared to earlier years, but this is the first time I'm really kind of assembling a kind of little package of compressed things that I kind of came up with from teaching. And this is a very good example of how people sometimes try to speed up and not really pay attention on small details. It's very often that I see people picking with their picking hand, left or right, without really being aware of which string they're playing. So it's either, you can play it sloppy. I mean, John Lee Hooker played stuff like that, and there are many other players who could maybe just do it's okay. But if you want to get control over what you're playing and be a little bit more distinct with your melodies and all that, and then combine that with other melodies, then this needs to be nailed down. Fine. So what I've noticed with people is that this is a tricky part, to convince the whole maybe class that, all right, we really need to work on this for like 3 minutes. We're not playing anything else, we're just doing. And then slowly, and I would go around and would watch how they're doing. Sometimes maybe I would change some angle of grabbing the thing. Maybe sometimes people would use these two fingers instead, which is okay, no problem. But if you're planning to do, then you need to be ready to grab the E chord when you're about to play the backup, right? So that's why it's efficient to use these two fingers and not these two fingers, because it would be, and then from here I'd need to jump to grab the, so it's a lot about efficiency, and I try to predict things, and that's also one of the things I've learned over the years, that I need to predict maybe mistakes and things that could happen in the process of learning, so that I'm very observant not to miss any of those things, because if you nail it wrong, it's going to be there forever. Just like my flat picking technique. I play that wrong from the beginning, and now I'm kind of stuck with an one kind of one style of playing that I can do, but not much more than that. Okay, not too much about that. I also have learned that I need to explain people by talking, not just by playing. There need to be moments during a lesson. We usually work there for about an hour and a quarter, something like that, maybe an hour and a half. And then we don't really always play. People need to kind of ventilate the brain and not play all the time. Maybe talk to each other a little bit, and then we maybe discuss some things. And I've realized that it's a really good thing if you find a subject that's kind of beneficial to everybody. One of the subjects is how can professional players play, maybe not so fast, but how can they just come up with licks all the time? I'm always trying to present those like, let's say, if you listen to Eric Clapton playing and jamming with somebody. I'll never forget the jam session when he was one of the musicians who were celebrating Carl Perkins. Was it 50 years or 35 years from 35 years, I guess, from Blue Suede Shoes when it was released. And this was in mid-80s. It's on all over YouTube. You can find it. So just, Clapton really played amazing on that gig. So how did he know what to play and when to play it? And the thing is that I like to explain that, like, if you've been watching Harry Potter movies and those walls with drawers and at Hogwarts, and they had these a lot of small drawers, or if you look at The Office somewhere, I try to present the licks like small things that you put each lick in one little drawer. And that drawer is easier to access the more you practice and the more you play, the more you jam with people. And that's one of the things that's kind of visual, and I've realized that people like that. So this is kind of new. I didn't use this for many years, but I've learned that, this time it really worked as well. Then I've also learned that I usually not over-deliver. It's not that. It's more that I'm too ambitious. I always think, and I'm always afraid that it's not going to be enough what I'm about to show people. And then I realize that those things may be, everyday thing for me because I've been playing them for so many years, and somebody who isn't, it might be too complex. So I've learned to show the big thing, the big deal, what this is going to be leading to. But then I really learned how to break down into small pieces, and to make that it's possible to play complex licks all together, but really slowly. And I also learned that it's very difficult to persuade a group of maybe 8 to 15 people, sometimes 20, to play really slowly. Because those ones who are maybe a bit more advanced and can play the lick already, they tend to kind of want to play it faster and go to new things. So I've learned how to inspire the group so that people who've come a little bit further in their musical journey do some stuff which is really supportive for those who are a little bit after. And by just creating that mutual respect in the room, it's a fantastic feeling in the end when you just hear the whole room in the good groove, and everything is just moving in the right direction. It feels just fantastic. That's the better reward than any money they can pay me for these workshops. That's what the music is all about. It's about sharing. That's why I'm doing these live streams. Yeah. So I've also learned that every time somebody tells me, oh, this is too complicated, and I maybe think, well, not really. If you really concentrate, maybe you can do it directly, but then you will need to practice it for maybe several weeks or something. I remember thinking, okay, how would I feel if I'd go to some of the most famous jazz players? Okay, not to compare myself with most popular musicians, not that, but let's say if I would go to a very accomplished jazz guitar player and ask him to show me some really crazy chord changes, harmonic solution for stuff and all that, and I know that I would feel the same way as my students feel when they come to me. So that's also one thing that I need to think about. So I learned to concentrate on these things, not to drive too fast, not to push them too hard, and to realize, where's the limit? Where should we kind of take a break? Where should we stop? When is it too much, right? Because when it comes to a weekend, then we only have 3 days. When it comes to Blues Week, where I taught this summer, that was like 5 days in a row. And that was a fantastic period, because you can really schedule things. You can really kind of see where we're going from the day one and where we want to be on day 5 in the afternoon. And that's easier than weekend. Weekends are just like my retreat. It's also 3 days. So if I want to concentrate on some songs that would really crave some serious practicing, I don't usually do them on those 3-day events. Not really. So what else did I learn? I learned also that we listen to music different, of course, and what that taught me was that, because I'm so kind of snowed into my own way of thinking about music and listening to some artists, and then you end up in the breaks, let's say with a class, and you're drinking coffee and talking about some musicians and all that, and then you see that out of maybe 5 people, 2 are seeing this musician and their songs totally different from what I do, and that's something cool to just to be a part of, because otherwise I wouldn't have known. I would have just be sitting here at home, and my opinion is the only one that I really relate to, and that's it. But that was really cool, because for me, Muddy Waters is a master of the overall arrangement of a song, and some of my students asked me to show them only the solo part of Walking Blues, when he plays only treble strings and nothing else. So I was like, okay, that's great, but why is that so amazing for you? I was, well, I want to learn how to control that, like high notes on the 12th fret, and to have a good intonation and all that. And of course, I'll show that to them. Although my lessons are the least of kind of lessons that are teaching the way old masters played exactly from note to note, tone to tone. I always like to encourage people to make their own versions, to maybe understand how the original was done, but then, that's it. That was Blind Lammer Jefferson. That was Kansas City Jim Jackson, and let's move on. Here are the chords. Here are the chord changes and everything. You do it your way. Try to maybe change the key of the song. Maybe you want to play something in open tuning. Let's say Praying on the Old Cabin Ground, the song that I played as a welcome song today, is fantastic in open G, but it doesn't suit my voice. I need to maybe put a capo on the 5th fret to get to this C, because that song for me is not something that I'd like to shout when I sing. It needs to be very low key, like it was praying tonight. I don't want to sing it in G. Praying tonight, praying on the old hand brown. I don't know. I think I'm losing the feeling of the song and the lyrics if I would sing like that. But that song is fantastic for slide playing. So that would be an experiment to do. Maybe try to make your own version. Like, quite soon, I think, that the record company I record for in Serbia, they released this album called Leaving that I used to sell on my gigs, and I have a couple of CDs left. but it's not available anymore, and it's still not on Spotify. The only CD on Spotify is Too Long From Home with Sam Mitchell, which I really love. But I'd love to have this CD called Leaving up there as well. And on that CD, there's a version of Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry that I don't play as rock and roll. I play it slowly. And it's got the kind of, well, deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, we're back up in the woods among the evergreens. There stood a log cabin made of written word. Well, there's a country boy named Johnny Be Good, who never ever left. Right, and so on. So the refrain is like with a little kind of faked church choir singing just go, go, Johnny, go, go, go. So that was the way I've always heard Johnny Be Good. I danced to that song. I jammed that song. I played it with bands. I backed up amazing singers doing it. I backed up fantastic guitar players playing note by note like Chuck Berry and everything. But if I'm about to play it, this is how I heard it. So that's why I'm always encouraging people to come up with their own ideas, because it doesn't matter at which stage on your musical journey you are. You can always try to sing the melody, whatever, the way you feel it and want to sing it, and then work around that on your guitar, bass, piano, whatever instrument you're playing, or if you're playing with somebody else. And then I also learned that people are quite shy when it comes to their own abilities. They wouldn't maybe approach somebody just like that on an open mic and say, hey, I'm also playing this kind of music. Would you like to jam sometimes? Would you like to hang out sometimes? I've heard stories from students when they say, oh, I've been to this open mic in London. It was nice. It was okay. But it was just like, yeah, I kind of practiced a song. Then I went up on stage and I played it, and they kind of clapped their hands, and that was it. And nobody approached me. So I said, well, is that the reason why you don't approach somebody else? Maybe they're just as shy as you are, and maybe they thought you were fantastic and they just don't dare, coming forward and telling you something. It's like, it's very, people really need to let go and just like do it. Because when you're jamming with somebody, when you're playing actively, and when you meet somebody, let's say every week or even every 2 weeks, but then you kind of decide, okay, in 2 weeks when we meet again, I'm going to know this song, I'm going to know how to play this song, and you learn that lick, and then we can do it together. And then maybe they can record it and just have fun. And I'm so honored that one of the groups that I had during my guitar retreat has become a blues jam every Friday, where there's between 5 and 8 people, I think, that are meeting every Friday when it's possible, and they just jam. They have their song list, they have their, it's an amazing feeling just to see how inspired they were after getting together on the retreat. And then just when we were done on the island, then they went back, and luckily they all live in the same area, so it's easy to get together. So yeah, one of the things I've learned is that I really need to, I do that already, but I really have to pay attention on people who are a bit shy. Maybe it shows in the room. Maybe they don't ask too many questions. Maybe they just do what I'm showing them, and then it's okay. And then we maybe don't even talk during the breaks. Maybe, I don't know. So I'm trying to initiate those things more actively after I've been teaching for so long, and that's, I think, very important. So I don't want to say that this is everything I've learned, but these were, quite many things that I mentioned here, and I think I'll leave it there. It's okay, it's cool, it's a privilege to show what I can do to people, and talking about that Muddy Waters lick, let me just give you a small glimpse of that while why this was so important to these students. And I'll just change the guitar for a second. So we're all familiar with the walking blues, right? So the greatness of Muddy Waters was, in my opinion, to find this groove where he was really careful of what he was picking. And it was... And just this groove while he was singing was fantastic. And it was a bit, or not so logical, because if you're in G, and then all of a sudden you play in D, you know, it's not like, okay, maybe why didn't he play like... But the note D is already here in the higher octave, in the chord itself. And those are the mid frequencies, right? But when you grab that big D note on the big bass, then it gives this distinct arrangement solution, which is so fantastic. So he chooses to... So this is one of the most important riffs, licks, rhythmic patterns. This is just genius, right? So within this song, when he sings like woke up this morning, feel around for my shoe, Lord, I must have heard him, this old walking blues. And then he changes to that. So I've already changed from what Muddy played, because he played linear, he played very simple. I have this kind of syncopation in my playing, in my energy flow or whatever, so I really like to do. Right? And that's how I maybe do it, and maybe that's how I just change a little bit from the original arrangement. But when it comes to the solo, I really, really love to pay homage to Muddy, because this is how he played it. So this is the first part, and if you just look the technique of playing, this is... It is complex in a way, but if you want to learn this, there are ways to play it very slowly, and it's very easy to teach, because it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, the triplets. So it's... This is how I would start to teach it, and just go from part to part, and then just do the whole thing together. The tricky part is this, when he does, not on all recordings, on some of them, he does like... So which means that you need to vibrate, and you kind of glide downwards to the 10th fret. So this can be a bit complex, but that can also be broken into the pieces. So like just we just go and practice on that, and find different ways to execute that thing, right? So that's it. All right, we're going to the lick of the week, and then we'll finish off for today. So, the lick of the week. Actually, this is going to be a kind of chord change of the week because during some of these workshops I taught a song called Sport and Life Blues, which is a slow blues, and it has a little bit different chord changes than the regular 12-bar blues. Why do I call it regular when it's just maybe to say average 12-bar blues? It goes like this. I got a letter from my home. Most of my friends, so we changed to A, they didn't go on this diminished chord, cause it's so nightlife, this old sporting life, man, it's killing me. So that's the groove of the song. Let me just change to this view so you can really see what I was doing. And same lick that I played in the intro when I played the blues back up, so it can be used here as well. But the nice part here is the usage of the basses when it comes to this, because it's no nightlife. When we go from E to C sharp 7, and then to F sharp 7, and then to B and E. So these are the main chords and major chords, and there is nothing strange about this. Many people can grab these chords nicely, it works fine, it's okay. But when it comes to the nicer arrangement of playing these chords, that's what I'd like to show you as a lick of the week. So we go. If we play with basses that are the root of that chord, then I would go like this. So these are small variations of this can be varied by maybe playing so. Oh, sorry. So we're basically kind of doing different variations of melodic bass playing to reach the root notes of the chords, which is E, which is C sharp, F sharp, and then B again, where we have B on the second, on the fifth string on the second fret, and then E. So what I like to show is these variations. So first variations is this diminished chord. So I say, I got a letter from my home, most of my friends, well, didn't go. And don't ask me which diminished this is. I just have it in my head. I've played this for many, many years. If it's a B diminished or whatever, because they just come every fourth frets. So it goes like this. And even here. And the fantastic thing about this particular diminished chord shape and the grip, which is first fret of the fifth string, and then second fret, fourth string, open third, second fret of second string, and open first. So which means you play all 5 strings the way you want. And just look at it now. If you move it 4 frets up, they all sound fantastic. And this is only with this diminished chord, if you play in the key of E. If I would play something in F, and then play the same song, I got a letter from my home, most of my friends, they all dead and gone. So there is a diminished chord, right? So the first string is not always within the harmony, and this goes for maybe other keys where you play diminished chords. So the most usual form of grabbing the diminished chords is to grab it on the first 4 strings, right? And then you move that all 4 frets up and down. But in E, when you play that diminished chord, it's so beautiful. Everything is ringing. So it's a beautiful kind of inspirational way to grab that chord. And then, if I want to kind of get away from that usual, many times predictable playing the root note of the bass of the chord, then I would maybe do this. What I did here is that I played this, the same C#7, but I played the bass on the 4th fret of the 6th string, which is actually the G sharp. The note is G sharp. So I'm playing the lower 5th of this chord, and that gives it this distinct, right? And now I know I need to go to F sharp, and there's not only this form of F sharp, which is like F chord and then just move 1 fret up. You can also grab all bare chords, have their 7th on basses grabbed like this. So if we're in G, no, let's go to F sharp where we are already. So listen to those. So now we're just playing basses. And if we don't play treble strings and we just concentrate on this, so this is one way to pick F sharp, B, E, but a bit jazzier, a bit kind of more funky. I find it. And then you add this open first string. It's like, it's cool. Whenever you have the possibility to kind of cut off a couple of strings for a little period and they just bring them in again, it's much more dynamic. It's more beautiful than just playing all 6 strings all the time, because within a song that's maybe 3 or 4 minutes long, if you play the same thing all over again, it's not going to be that interesting. So if I would change these chords within this song, it would be like this. Most of my friends, they all dead and gone, 'cause this old nightlife, this old sport life, it's killing me. Because those treble strings were waiting until the turnaround comes. And that's, I think, much, kind of deeper playing, and it's more dynamic to it and all that. And what I also did here is that I approached the chords with kind of half step higher and then played the chord that I'm going to. So if I want to play the C#7 here, I start from E and then go to D7 and then C#7, and then I go half fret higher from the F sharp. I play G7 and then F sharp, and I can also do this. So the basses would be So I really hope this was interesting to listen to and to watch. And I thank you so much for coming today. I hope you'll be back next Monday. From now on, I think I have a easygoing schedule, no big travelings, and I think I don't know when the Christmas is this year. Is that going to be around Monday or Sunday or something? I'll check it and I'll let you know. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming, and keep playing, slide on, pick on, and I'll see you next week.
One sunny day, my sweetheart left me. Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. She called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy. Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. 'Cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Was spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me. Now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. But I'm sitting